Hello and welcome to the second vlog in this series here, and I'm at Cheddar Gorge and Caves. There's a couple of different caves to see here. Obviously I did Wookie Hole yesterday, and now I'm getting to see a couple more caves here. There's also a museum, and there's also an observation tower, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some more really impressive sights inside. Of course, all this is built into a ravine as well, so there's like cliff faces all around, and I'm looking forward to actually getting inside and seeing what is inside there. we're going to be saying next time we go on the river caves? Oh, look. No, you do, in the blue glass house scene, you see ones exactly like this. I think it's like trying. It's easy. First of the two caves here, which is Gough's cave. It is a very sort of traditional sort of cave. It's very natural. It's just kind of white lighting in there, and it's quite dark in some areas. They've kept it. There's a lot of different like craters and different like areas that are quite sort of tucked away, like little areas that you really have to look out for, like above little ravines. There's only a couple of like large rooms, but similar to Wookey Hole, they've got the cheese aging area as well. But I quite enjoy just walking through. There's a couple of large. There's even like a little secret grotto on there as well. There's loads of little water areas. It's a very unusual rock formations to see in there. Absolutely fantastic. Spent quite a while looking at all the different details and rock formations and bits of erosion in there. Just seeing all of it and all the water, and on all the little areas that you can look up and just see so many different craters and ravines that you just go unseen, and you really have to look out for them. to record this. That's literally like the river. The blue block there. Actually doing some caving here. I mean, this is the best one, like the best one yet. No, but I mean with like the actual cave systems and all that. massive. Yeah, like there's like caveman like clothes and like stuff there. Oh, it's like proper dark, like right. This is like a dark ride, like, but like an actual cave. Flats. I'll leave you with that on the vlog. come out of Cox's Cave, which is it's a lot more of a sort of cinematic experience. It's like projection mapped about like ancestry onto all the rocks. It's a lot more atmospherically lit. There is a pre-show as well, just in the little room behind there, where you get introduced to like the cavemen. There's like a room all about fire. You've got like but yeah, I think it was really good. It's a lot more atmospheric, this one. It's not as natural, like I say, because there's a lot of different coloured lighting in the different rooms that I used to its advantage for the different show scenes, because you've got the pre-show with all the cavemen and the different animals in. You've got the bit with the horses as well, near the end. And probably my favourite bit was the bit with the bear, because they even used a little waterfall sort of next to it, so you can hear the water sort of rushing down as the bear breaks through the cave, which was really good. And even in the big finale scene, there was this big sort of wind effect with these big fans and stuff, that was pretty good. It's a lot more special effects based, and it's obviously proper sort of walk-through attraction. All the different show scenes, it's not just a cave that you can really take in, but it is quite different because of course you get those little tight corridors that you really have to squeeze through, but you get like a projection mapped on the rocks, and there's a little running man that comes up to show you when you need to move to the next different scene. But it's obviously all based around the sort of prehistoric era of the area, and all the cavemen, with all the fire sort of showing how they use like flint to create fire. And it's interesting sort of history. It's just that you don't really get to appreciate the cave as much with it, because it is very different. It does really feel sort of quite tight and claustrophobic in some of those corridors, especially when you're sort of coming up to the scene with the bear. But I think the bear scene is my favourite. It really used the scenery around those rocks, and not just the projection mapping on the rocks, because obviously it uses the waterfall as well. And all the scenes have sort of little water areas and little caverns and coves and stuff you can sort of see, but it's more atmospheric with the lighting. But I still really enjoyed it, and it makes for a very different experience. In fact, they've got two caves, but they both provide very different experiences. If you just want to walk around, you go to Gough's, but if you want a sort of show scene with a bit of history, you go to Cox's Cave. Which is good that they're very different.
You asked Caroline's been there. Might be way down in a minute, so just take your time.
Don't do a Nicola, you'll drop it.
Oh, you can hear that on the vlog now.
Well, it's alright, you can just mute me out, can't you? She's not looking for that. from Cheddar and Caves. They said they were living in Cheddar tonight.
Is being done for the deer and the smaller breast. This will make it very severe.
Mouth Neanderthalaensis. There's still plenty of them around.
What's that?
Well, where the different subspecies came from. And in Britain, we've got Homo Neanderthalaensis. And I said, yeah, there's still plenty of them around.
Oh God, yeah.
Descendant living in Cheddar Did you read that?
About they took DNA sample. History teacher. You couldn't find it.
Is that in there?
The smoldering charcoal is transferred to the tinder. The sparks fly, but flames are reluctant to appear unless the tinder is perfectly clean. Has sufficient heat, it can be transferred to the ground, and dry sticks or burnable material can be added. More encouragement by blowing can be helpful. The hair and the whiskers are in great danger here. We have it. A fire. St. John Hall, I've been having this for 30 years. Our ancestors started to make stone tools almost 2 million years ago. A large plate has just been removed from a stone gravel cliff at the age of a large quartz-like hand.
That's a good name for it. Tissue connecting the scalps to the sculpting contact the scalp, everyone's brains can be scooped out into the body. And the empty skulls were sometimes even used as a
I love that in the dungeons where they've got like an example from the mobile and it's one of them.
yeah.
And the cameras where it's like an old,
Yeah,
Camera.
like a proper old.
no talkie or flashy boxes allowed in the dungeon.
Because at the time,
Unless you're on a blue light card day, then you're allowed.
at the time when that would have gone when they first put that up there, it would have been sort of relevant, but now it's a bit of a gel.
Found a bowl.
Yeah. Boats, man. The fact that there was like just boats like walking around.
Yeah.
And that wraps up this vlog from Cheddar Gorge and Caves. It's really good coming here, doing all of the different experiences you can do here. The two caves, Gough, which is a bit more natural feeling in there, it's very minimal with the lighting, and then you've got Cox's Cave, which is more tight corridors, more atmospheric coloured lighting, and obviously more show scenes of the projection mapping. Did Jacob's Ladder and the Lookout Tower. You can get some great views across all of the different cliffs and ravines around here, although it is a bit of a workout to get up those stairs, but it's worth it for the views. Obviously the Museum of Prehistory as well, the different artefacts of like bones as that bear. There's also that Pepper's Ghost effect with the Cheddar Man and the skeleton, it fades in. Also in Gough's Cave you have actually got the Cheddar Man to see in there, like the skeleton. And then it's just fantastic. I think Gough's Cave is my favourite just because it's a lot more natural. You just get to see pure just rocks formations. I did like the show scene element in the other one, but I think I just prefer just going through a cave and just being able to take time to look at everything. But it is definitely worth spending a day here. There's a lot to do, because as well as the caves, obviously, like I say, you've got the Museum of Prehistory, which is really good. It's got like the wax figures of obviously the caveman actually burying the Cheddar Man, who was the first Brit, and then also obviously the archaeologists in front of that just digging up his skeleton, which can be found actually inside of Gough's Cave. You've also got the Pepper's Ghost effect, which I really liked, with the Cheddar Man obviously fading into his skeleton, done with the Pepper's Ghost effect, which is a really good effect to see. I really do like that. You've got the interactive feature with the globe, where you can spin it around and see all the different subspecies. You've got like flint used for arrowheads. You've got the animal fur used for clothes. You've got the wicker for traps. You've got like the wood that was used for fire. You've even got like carvings you can go up to and have a look at on the wall. Obviously as well, as you come round from there, you've got like a big skeleton of a bear just stood there as well. Then you've got a couple of other interactive features where you've got all the skulls, and you've got the magnifying glass you could slide over and have a closer look at some of those, which is really good as well. And there was a final interactive feature where you could like brush through the sand and see all the rocks and the bones and stuff. You could add a little go at that, where you can find stuff in there, which is another little interactive feature. There's also, in one of the rooms, you can look out the window and there's a little like caveman sort of tent and little camp area set up, which is really good as well. Nice theming piece. Jacob's Ladder and the Lookout Tower, that was really good because you could see all over the actual gorge itself and the ravines and all that. You could see the rocks from high up, all of those cliff walls. And you could also see the village, the historic village, down underneath you as well. There's also the Beyond the View experience, that was really good. It's a cinematic experience where you've got it's like you get to sort of travel around Cheddar Gorge, and you get to see around all the village, and you get to see fly over the rocks and all the cliff faces. That's really good. And you get to go sort of through all the roads on there and see all like the village. And there's certain locations around there that you'll stop at, and then it'll fade into like an old black and white picture of that particular location. It's quite a relaxing experience because obviously it's just a little seating area in front of the screen. You've got the music in the background of the actual cinematic views as well. It's also made quite immersive because it's got like a setup at the front with like 3 different screens. But it's a really good cinematic experience where you get some cinematic shots from above and around the village and the cliffs. I think my favourite cave would have to be Gough's cave, just because obviously, like I say, you get to appreciate it a bit more. You get to spend a lot of time in the different cave areas and obviously see all the little details, whereas Cox's it's all like one show scene. I didn't mind the pre-show, it's just the rest of it, the projection mapped, you don't really get to see. I did like how the water was included in the one scene with the waterfall, and you also had the sort of fans to create like wind in the one room as well. That was pretty good. But I would have rather just been able to look around the cave, but obviously you can in Gough, so it depends what you want to really do. It was good doing both though. And the other thing is I did get some merch, and that was a bear and a fridge magnet for Cheddar Gorge as well. And that wraps up this vlog.